Chapter 13. Reclining in a lawn chair outside her apartment, Celia breathed in deeply, intaking the sights, sounds, and colors of spring. Ever since she had been young, Celia loved the outdoors. The carefree feeling, the symphony of birds twittering, wind whistling, and her bare feet brushing through the grass. The quietness, the simplicity, the peace. Anything had been better than the roaring of her father or the frigid silence of her mother. Sometimes she'd join a group of kids for a game of kickball, but it was easier, more comfortable to be alone. Even now, as an adult, at 22 years old, it was easier and more comfortable to be alone. Sometimes it seemed others were born with friends and born with the gift of being the social butterfly. And though people saw her to be as beautiful as a butterfly, Celia felt more like a chameleon, easily stressed, always hiding, blending in with her surroundings, not wanting to be noticed. Although if she took this Christian faith as seriously as Annika and the others did, she couldn't blend in with the world any more. Was she capable, though? Was she worthy? Was she qualified to take up that banner, that cross, and tell the world she was a Christian? "Hey, you," a kind voice greeted. Celia snapped her head up. "Mark!" She struggled to get out of the comfy seat, and she laughed at herself. "What are you doing here?" He shrugged, looking relaxed in his shorts and t-shirt. "I thought I'd stop by, check up on you." He pulled her in for a comforting hug. "Such a nice surprise seeing you," she said. "How have you been? Really?" She sighed, going limp. "I don't know." She stepped out of his embrace. "That part of me is almost relieved I don't have to face him anymore. But a bigger part of me feels lost, empty." She fingered her fishtail braid. "I hadn't realized how much of my time, of my life, he had consumed." Mark's eyes shone with sympathy. "Yeah," he murmured. "How have you been?" she asked. He made a face that said, okay. Removing his glasses, he wiped them on his shirt. "I still can't believe he was killed the way he was. It's weird with all these questions and cops lurking around, you know? But What?" she pressed. He caught her gaze and held it. "I'm glad he can't hurt you anymore. You deserve better. You deserve the best." She blinked. Because of the sun, not any tears forming. "Thank you." "It's strange," he continued, nearly chuckling. "Patrick was my best pal. I mean, I miss him, but I finally feel like I know what he was. I don't miss that about him." He stuck his hands in his pockets, taking a step closer, voice dropping to a mere whisper. "You should have told me what was going on." "About what?" she asked. "You know what I mean," he said. "How long had Patrick been abusive toward you?" She looked away. "Not long." "When did it start?" "Do we have to go into this? I'd really rather not." "Celia, please." She pressed her lips together. The night of his St. Patrick's party. Mark put his head back, raked fingers through his hair, groaned. "I knew it! I knew it!" He whirled around, pacing in the front yard. "I just ignored my instincts." "Celia, I'm sorry. It wasn't your fault. I shouldn't have stolen from him. I should have told the truth right from the beginning." She wrapped her arms around herself, stifling a chill. "A part of me wishes I'd never even met Patrick in the first place." A small smile tugged at his lips. "Yeah, but if you hadn't met Patrick, you and I may have never met." She found herself smiling back. "That's true," she answered, glancing at the sidewalk, glancing anywhere but him. What exactly was going on? What exactly was he saying? "Have you been questioned anymore by the police or the PI?" And just like that, the uncertain feelings were gone. The mood shifted back to friends talking. "Good." She shook her head. "No. Right after it happened, I told Annika all I could about Patrick. She said she doesn't suspect me, but I don't know about the police." "What about you?" "They questioned me, yeah. They seemed pretty suspicious, but I haven't heard anything else." He grinned. "I guess no news is good news, huh?" Celia nodded with a light shrug. "Guess so." Annika and Cameron walked along the park trail, the sun beating down on them. But her cheeks weren't warm from the heat. Annika still couldn't believe she had gone to the prison. Her uncle had been so proud when she relayed the news. But she had no idea how Cameron would react. She kept her head down and kept her shades on, knowing puffy and swollen eyes surely betrayed her restless and tearful night. What a beautiful day! Stretching, Cameron drank from her water bottle as he drank in the scenery. Tall trees, freshly mowed grass, the sun playing tag with puffy white clouds. Tossing the empty bottle into a nearby trash can, he touched her arm. "Are you doing okay?" he asked. "You seem quiet." "I didn't sleep well last night," she answered. "I'm sorry." He kept stealing glances. And then a little while later, when she kept responding with monosyllables, "Annika, are you sure there's nothing wrong?" He stopped and took her hands, facing her. "What is it?" Her jaw trembled, warning her of another wailing bout. She removed her sunglasses. Time to be vulnerable. "Sorry. Hang on, having technical difficulties. Emotional difficulties," she thought. "Hey, it's okay." Cameron enfolded her in his arms. "It's all right." She collected herself in his embrace. Already she felt safer, more at peace, with his solid frame stabilizing her. Focusing on her breathing, she relaxed against him, listening to the steady beat of his heart. "Is it something I did or didn't do?" he asked quietly. "Did I forget something important?" No, she reassured. "Just please don't be mad at me." "Why would I be mad at you?" he asked. She cringed, burying her face in his chest. "Because I saw your dad yesterday." His body stiffened. He pulled back, looking her in the eyes, making sure he had heard her correctly. "You what?" Annika examined her tennis shoes. She needed some new ones. She couldn't believe they were having this conversation. "I saw him." Cameron let out the breath that was suddenly choking him. "What? Why?" She gave a light shrug. "Because, Cameron, I love you. And I wanted to do something to help." "Help with what?" he asked. "With your memory. I spoke to him, told him what was going on, and he said he's willing to talk to you, see if he can help you." "Annika." Eyes shimmering, Cameron simply stared at her, shaking his head, and then he took her hands and kissed them. "You're amazing." She started breathing again. "You're not mad?" "Of course not! I'm stunned. I can't believe you did this for me. But why didn't you tell me? I would have gone with you." She tucked her hair behind her ear. "I thought I'd have a better chance at seeing him if I was alone, and I didn't want to get talked out of it." "Annika, thank you." He smiled tremulously. "I've been wanting to see him for so long, wanting him to see our heart that we've forgiven him." Realization suddenly darkened his expression. "But, hon, I can't imagine how painful that must have been for you." He held her by the shoulders now. "I was up all night." Pressure built behind her eyes. "Everything just came back. I thought I was doing so well, but now I feel like I'm back where I started." Her sobs became muffled as Cameron pulled her into him, stroking her hair. "I miss them. I want them to meet you." A wave of guilt followed every tear, every single one. She hated the thought of her pain adding to his own, her cries reminding him of the pain his father had caused. Yet after a moment, she relaxed and let herself cry freely, feeling nothing but love in Cameron's arms. He understood. She needed to let this out. Cameron guided her to a bench where they sat together. A large oak tree hung over them, guarding them from the sun's rays. "You know I adore you, Annika, and your pain is my pain." He brushed away a tear, cupping her cheek in his hand. "When is it going to get better?" she asked. "I thought I was past all this, past feeling like this." "Annika, seeing my dad was bound to open up old wounds." Cameron took her hands in his. "When I start feeling everything caving in, all the mix of emotions, I feel God reminding me that my dad's not saved. He's lost right now. And that's scary." She stared at him, the words and reality sinking in. At least her parents had been Christians. I also felt God remind me of an encouraging verse the other day. It's in the saddest book of the Bible. But even in one of history's bleakest moments, we still find a beautiful verse of God's faithfulness. He pulled up the Bible app on his phone. Lamentations 3:22-23. Because of the Lord's great love we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. She sniffled. That's beautiful. Isn't there a song called Great is Thy Faithfulness? Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Cameron started singing the chorus, and she joined in. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed in thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. As they sang, Annika watched the butterflies. They twirled and fluttered around the flowers together, as if dancing for their Creator. Even butterflies praised. Every animal, every rock, even the tree she and Cameron sat under. If they praised in their own way, then she and Cameron certainly should. It felt good to sing without a praise team ushering her to. It felt good to sing with the man she loved, to sing through the pain. Through the past, present, and future, God had been and would continue to be faithful. And he was faithful to forgive those who repented. Once they finished, Annika took a deep breath. I really do want to look at Dr. Baines the way God does. I want him to receive salvation. She tightened her grip on his hand. Do you want to pray right now? For your dad? Eyes moist, Cameron nodded. And together they knelt on the sun-baked ground. In her apartment, on her suede blue couch, Celia scrolled through the pictures on her phone. It was done. Every single picture of Patrick was gone, erased from existence. Just like him. Celia couldn't believe he had been killed in such an awful way. Yet she couldn't believe she had wanted to marry him, someone who had belittled her, beaten her, and had been willing to kill. Had hit someone with his car and kept on living like nothing had happened. Celia shook her head at herself, thankful for Annika and her friendship, thankful for the Bible studies she was attending, for the faith that was helping her more and more. But after their most recent lesson at Cup of Kindness, she realized her faith was something she pulled out only during emergencies. Only in desperate times she would enter the combination. But Annika and Cameron wore it like a necklace. That piece of jewelry called faith gave them joy, represented who they loved, who they were. It was close to their heart for everyone to see, something that got people talking, something lightweight and beautiful. Celia's ringtone went off, a ballad she and Patrick used to listen to. Something else she needed to delete from her phone. Hello? Hey, Celia, how's it going? Annika asked. Oh, pretty well, just decluttering my phone. That's something I need to do. Listen, I'm just calling because I was wondering if you wanted to come to church this weekend. Celia bit her lip. We're having bingo night afterward. It's always super fun. She let the sentence hang. The ball was in Celia's court. Yet all at once she felt a shroud of despair begin to loom. Well, I'd like to, but maybe I could in a couple weeks, when I'm doing better. What do you mean? Annika asked. Are you feeling sick? No, Celia sighed. Annika, I'm not like you guys. I mess up all the time. She released it all. Might as well. The thing is, I'm not good enough for God, for church. Not yet. Maybe, Celia, no one is good enough. It's not about being perfect and getting everything right. It's about spending time with God and His children to encourage each other. We strive to be our best, but we still fail and stumble. Celia held on to the words, listening closely, wanting to believe as strongly as everyone else did. And then Annika finished. If everyone waited until they were perfect to go to church, churches would be completely empty. Celia laughed lightly. Cameron and I would love to spend the Sabbath with you. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's like our Bible studies, just a little longer. Thanks, Annika. I'll let you know. I promise.